My name is Scott, and I have always loved being around the water. A dream of mine was to one day own a lakefront property of my own. For years, my wife and I have driven around the state looking at property. Sometimes we were serious, and sometimes we just needed something to do, but we were always dreaming. Now the dream has become a reality. Come join us as we attempt to build our very own off-grid cabin on Lake Lot 9. All right, so I've got my 9 pieces of metal here. I've got them all stacked flush with one another, and I got them all oriented the same way. I had these pieces cut 15 feet and 3 inches. My roof is pretty much 15 feet deep, plus or minus a 1/4 inch, depending on where you measure. So I had them cut 15.3 because I'm going to leave 1.5 inches in the back, and I'm going to square my roof to my fascia board in the back. But if you're standing behind the cabin looking at the roof, I'm going to start on the right hand side. So this will be my leading edge because it's got the extra little lip down at the bottom that this side does not have. So that will get lapped. That will go in the bottom. So I'm going to measure up 1.5 inches plus 1.25 inches. So 2.75 inches. That'll give me 1.5 inches to account for my overhang, and 1.25 inches to fall in the middle of my 2.5 inch furring strip. And there's nothing in this world building wise that you can find online that people do not argue about, and where to put screws on metal roofing has got to be number one. So I'm putting my screws on the flats. That's just what I've decided on. That's what I'm going to do. It is what it is. So it turns out I broke my first drill bit, and the new ones I bought are absolutely useless. It would literally take hours to drill all these holes out. So I really want to get a piece of this up before I leave for today, just to ease my mind about how it's going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put a sheet up, and I'll take my hammer and punch, or hammer and nail basically, and I'll at least have an indentation where all my holes go, and that way I can get started without the screw walking everywhere. Get one piece put up, and then buy some better drill bits when I come back on Friday and drill the remaining 8 sheets then. From what I understand, you need to use a drill instead of an impact, because these screws have little rubber gaskets under these washers, and you want to snug them down, but you don't want to squeeze them so hard that you squeeze that washer out. So I'm going to, it'll take me a little while to get adjusted where I need with my drill, but I'm sure we'll get it figured out. Well, there's one sheet on. As you can see, in order for me to square it with the fascia, I started out flush over there with the gable, but lost about 1.25 inches. I got the foam closures in both ends. I probably need to back my drill off just a little bit. I feel like it's indenting the metal a little bit more than it should. But I feel like it's going to work. Of course, my gable trim will cover that up. All right, guys, so back out here, I went ahead and put foam closures down for the next couple panels on the top and the bottom. I'm not sure how much good those things do, but they're cheap enough, so we're going to use them. Hopefully it'll keep wasps and bugs from building nests, birds, mice, whatever. And I brought a piece of my rake trim up here. You can see it laying on the side there. I just wanted to kind of put it up there and make sure, you know, everything covered good. Also going to put butyl tape on each seam. I bought that, and I also bought some of this. It's supposed to be pretty good roofing caulk, roof sealant. So I bought both because I was worried about how far the butyl tape may cause the seam to separate. So I've got enough of both to do it if I change my mind. So I got a couple more sheets up here. I got them all drilled. So I'm going to lay the next sheet over here and see how this is going to go. So I ended up taking the butyl tape off and using caulk, mainly because the butyl tape, when I'm trying to put this on by myself, if you don't get it lined up exactly perfect the first time, the tape would stick to the top piece and pull off, and it was pulling the butyl tape off and making it all wonky. So I figured doing this by myself, I can use the caulk. I can put the top sheet down and then I can slide it up and down a little bit to get it evened up with the previous sheet. So that's where we're at with that. I'll definitely use the butyl tape on my trim and all that, but All right, so I got the metal on. Full disclosure, I did end up having to step my sheets up a little bit as I went to the left because I was getting out of line with my furring strips. And I think, so before I go any farther, I'm 100% ecstatic about the way it went. First time roofer, 100% happy. Now, what's frustrating is I think that I had my roof squarer than I gave myself credit for. And somehow when I put my first sheet down, I talked myself out of it being square. Because I don't know if you can, how good you can see that, but I ended up overhanging about 1 inch on the upper end, and I was short 1 inch on that end. So it almost seems like if I would have squared up with my gable, I would have stayed square all the way across. But again, we're gonna take it. I'm happy. More thing I didn't like, I wish I would have got bigger drip edge. I feel like that drip edge didn't come down far enough. Although, for what I understand, guttering only needs to drop 1/4 inch every 10 feet, so it would probably work. But I did find at Lowe's some 6-inch black flat stock that I'm probably gonna jam up under that drip edge to protect my wood, and I might just send that right on over into my gutter. I don't know yet. Not overly concerned about it, but it's unfortunate either way. I think that'll work for me anyway. Well, it's been a super long day, folks. But I have a roof. Definitely not perfect by any means. But for a first time DIYer, I'm super happy with it. Glad to get this part done. Glad to be able to work somewhere besides up high for a while. But there I got gable trim, or rake trim, whatever you want to call it, up the side. End up using the roofing caulk. I'm sure that butyl tape is awesome, but it just wasn't cooperating with me. Also rake trim across the top, the outside foam closure. Didn't do the best job lapping it right there, but I think I've got it sealed up pretty good. The only thing I may break down and do in the future is I may actually come back and put screws in the ridges on the overlaps, just on overlaps, because you can see where they stick up a little bit. I normally wouldn't worry about that. Well, I say that, I don't know what I'm doing, but the only reason I'm worrying about that, and the only reason I put caulk in between each overlap, is because the roof is such a gentle slope that I'm going to end up with lots of leaves and lots of twigs and lots of debris landing on here and causing little dams. So it's going to be a constant battle for me to keep it clean, but that's okay. It's just another excuse to come back down here. But yeah, this one seam in particular here, yeah, I think I might put screws in those. But anyway, enough of me yammering. It's going to be dark in about an hour. Here's a view from the roof. Maybe the last one you guys see. But it's about time to get this junk loaded up and get in the boat and get out of here. Until we'll see you next Sunday, you guys find something you love to do and do it till it hurts.